in the hood. Like in the projects, my grandma had green grass and a white fence around that joint, right? And kids knew when you playing, don't play on her grass, right? And kids were still, they busting in people's house. They would not break in my grandma's house, right? They knew she was heated. You understand what I'm saying? They knew she was heated. So you heated, she heated, right? And she like, when y'all come up off in here, I promise you, somebody gonna die, right? And she wasn't afraid, right? So I don't know if I agree with all her stuff, but she wasn't scared of nobody. And we've gotten to a point where we are afraid to talk to a 13-year-old and tell him to pull his pants up. Like we're afraid. Like we're afraid to say anything to him. And there's no society that is productive without being able to hold them accountable. Amen? You know, my son and I have conversations all the time, and he's at that age, he's 23, he's making that transition. You know, he's got a fiance, you know, he's got dreams, goals. You know, and I said to my son just recently, we will never have the type of relationship where I can't tell you the truth. Like we'll never have that kind of relationship. And if we have to sacrifice our friendship, I'll sacrifice our friendship for truth. But I will never be in a position where you are doing something that's detrimental to you and I can't say nothing to you about it. For real, that's where we've gotten. We've gotten to a place where we see folks doing stuff that's not going to lead them nowhere and we're scared to say something to them about it. Right? That's not love. I don't know what that is, but that's not love. Love says, I'm going to tell you the truth. Right? I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'll tell you the truth at whatever cost. Right? So you look at a Martin Luther King, you look at Malcolm X, you look at Marcus Garvey. You know, we respect these people, you know, Sojourner Truth, you know, we can go, the list goes on. Medgar Evers, we respect them because they told the truth. Like, that's what we looked up to them for. Now, let's be honest. We had pimps, yep, come on in. They got spots? Yep, get them on in, yep. We know in our communities there was pimps, you know, and hustlers, but we didn't have the same respect for the pimps and hustlers that we had for those people in our community who were about our community, amen? All right, so they were among us, but we had that kind of respect for them, right? And so we've got to get back, one, to a place where we can tell each other the truth and hold each other accountable. Amen? You know what I'm talking about, accountable. Your teacher whip your butt. Your mama whip your butt. Your grandma find out about it, she get in on it too, right? But there was some accountability. You know, you remember what I'm talking about? That you couldn't go up and clown. My mother was so bad that the teacher was always right. Now, I don't know that the teacher was always right, but my mom had it set up where I don't ever want you to think that you can go in here in this classroom and act a fool. Like this teacher, I'm going to take her side every single time until you graduate. I'm going to take her side, right? So number one, y'all got to do me a favor. We have to hold each other accountable. We cannot hear our babies on the street cussing, acting a fool, smacking women, and we're not going to say nothing about it. I'd rather die than be silent, right? And here's what I know. Everywhere I go, I see 17, 18-year-olds, 22-year-olds, E.T., you a legend, which tells me that they do want the truth. I'm not walking through the hood and they like, E, you whack, shut up. They're like, can I get a pic? That's letting me know that they want truth. They like the fact that I'm on YouTube screaming and hollering at them because they feel like, yo, my old dude wasn't in my life. And I miss that. Now, they might try to act hard, but they miss having somebody say, get your butt up and do better. They like that. Every kid, every son want that. Every daughter want that from her father. She want her father to be present. Now, they might, you know, rebel or whatever, but deep down there, we all want discipline. We all want somebody to care enough about us and have some type of interest in us that they say something to us when we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We almost expected it. Like when you know you did something wrong and an adult came out the house, you was almost like, did they see that? You know what I'm saying? You knew it was going down. And so number one, we have to get back to a place where we tell the truth. Like I said, I'm in Atlanta, y'all. They like, bro, I don't, you know, I'm like, I don't see myself in that light per se. But in Atlanta, bro, they like, E.T., you the next Martin Luther King. And I want to tell adults who like, these kids don't, I want them to come and walk with me and see that that's not the truth. That they do want to hear this. That I put a video up, like for real, be real. Like most of the time, if it's fighting, they hundreds of thousands of hits. I'm putting up positive message and getting 200, 300, 500,000 hits. They want this. Right? Now, it may not be as popular as some of the other stuff, but if you get those kind, I got over 1 million followers. That means these baby boomers ain't following me. It ain't a bunch of 70-year-olds, you know, keeping up with me. It ain't no 40-year-olds following me. It's the millennials. So they do want it, right? So number two, what we have to do is they want it, but they want it a little bit more creative, right? So we are going to have to be more creative in the way we give it to them, but they want it, right? So, you know, your grandma, you just flat out casserole. My grandma wasn't trying to like grape, cherry. She wasn't doing none of that. It's casserole, flat out. Like, drink this. I'm like, grandma, it's disgusting. Let's go. Open your mouth. You're getting this, right? She wasn't trying to put like the little creams on. She putting straight up alcohol, right, on that joke, right? Whatever that red stuff was coming right on. She wasn't playing with it, right? So there wasn't no grape, strawberry. But as we got older, they start, you know what I'm saying? They start strawberrying it out, right? It's still medicine, but with a little cherry boy, it tastes a little better. It go down better, watermelon flavor medicine. It just go down better, right? So a lot of us, we are, and we do, you here, so I already know who you are. But one of the things we have to do is we have to be creative about how we do it. They want it, but we got to be a little bit more creative. So I might have a video like with the music that he just did. That's phenomenal. That's it. That's it. You got to put the music with it. You got, you know what I'm saying? Like they got a small attention span, right? And that's not all on them. That's on some folks who smoking crack when they was pregnant with them. That's not all on them. Some folks were eating hot Cheetos when you was pregnant with them. You feel me? Like your diet wasn't the best. Or you was baby mama drama, you was getting into it with the husband or getting into it with the boyfriend or whoever, and they felt all of that. So a lot of what they going through don't make it like they just bad people. Right? It's the stuff going through. I never forget, you know, me and my son had a discussion. I was kind of like, oh my man, like you should be doing X, Y, and Z. He's like, yo, dad, I ain't trying to be funny, but you was homeless. I wasn't. You feel me? Like I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I wasn't homeless. So the resiliency that you looking for in me, I had two big, me and my sister both had our own rooms. We had cars at 16. So I'm not, being disrespectful, but I don't have the same resiliency of eating out the trash can. I don't have that, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't eat out the trash can. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't deal with gangs. You feel me? I didn't have to deal with that. And I didn't go to school necessarily fighting. Like we wasn't fighting like that, for our lives in school. So it's not that I don't have a story. I just don't have that story, right? So we got to understand who we dealing with, and then understanding who we dealing with, we got to change our methods up a little bit. Because for some of us, for real, we are coming from a background where you just got your butt whipped for everything. Anybody else other than me, you got that? For everything, it was a butt whipping. You remember that? I don't care what it was. Sick, whatever it is. It's like, go get the belt. Like, for everything. You feel me? Like, that was the solution for everything. Your grandma, go get the switch. Like, that was the solution. My grandma had a 3rd grade education. She wasn't reading no books. Oh, no, like, let's talk it out. It was like you did something you weren't supposed to do, you go get the belt. That was it, right? So we got to switch the methods up. Like, yes, they must get the truth. We cannot water it down. Because when they leave our house and go in the real world, they're not going to be as kind to them as we are. You feel me? Every day, y'all. I know a lot of y'all, we MJ, you from Chicago, MJ, is that guy. But the thing that I think about every single day that most people don't talk about when they talk about MJ is MJ losing his father. That's what I think about all the time. I think about that all the time. I remember that season when MJ lost his father. I remember him winning the championship and crying like uncontrollably. And whenever you ask MJ which one is the most important ring, he always going to tell you it's the one when the year my father got murdered. That's the one. He did it for his father, right? So I'm always thinking, and I want you to think this way, number 3, I'm always training my kids up in a way that if I'm gone, I need you to be able to have enough of me. What's going on, man? How you feeling? I need you to have enough of me that when I'm gone, you can't get me, but you still got enough of me when I was alive that you can live off of that. You feel me? Every day, that's what I wake up on. Like I could die on one of these planes. I could die driving. Anything can happen to me. So I want to put enough information and insight that my daughter, when you get married, even though I'm not here, I want you to ask, what would my daddy tell me to do in this situation? What would I do? If my daddy was here, what would he tell me? Right? And I'm always thinking about that. And we've got to think about that. I think what happened during the slavery days is that they were always under this sense of urgency. Every day they woke up, it was a sense of urgency. And we've gotten to a place where some of the success has really damaged us because we don't operate with that sense of urgency. So if you thought you were going to die, you'd have different kind of conversations. Look, I've gotten so deep with it we need to have this conversation, but I'm paying somebody now to call them and talk to my grandkids. So I'm paying them and I'm getting my voice and I'm talking to my grandkids right now. And we're like writing stuff up for my grandkids. So just in case I die, they'll still have a series of videos, a series of audio, and a series of writing that I may not be here physically with you, but if I was able to be around you, this is what I would have said to you, and this is what I would have hoped to give you that I didn't necessarily give to your mama and your daddy. Right? When I had your daddy, I was 25. I didn't have a master's or a PhD. I didn't have some of my life experiences. So I couldn't get this to your mom. But as a 48-year-old who's documenting this is what I would have hoped to give them that I didn't give them, but I'm giving it to you. And I want you, are you hearing what I'm saying? Absolutely. We got to live with a sense of urgency. There's nothing guaranteed. And the amount of money you can make to keep yourself alive. Mm-hmm. You eating food from the grocery store. You eating food from the grocery store. You done bought some hot dogs from the dog park, from the baseball, football game. You don't know what you consuming. Right. You don't know what's going on in your body with the stuff you eat. You don't know how long you're going to be here. Most of the stuff is artificial. Most of the restaurants that we go to, they're not even serving us real meat. Right? And depending on what neighborhood you live in, it's a wrap on what you get. The fruit ain't even fruit, right? So we don't know how long we have. So what we have to do is we have to take advantage of every day, not on those spooky, scary stuff, but we have to take advantage of the fact that this could be the last one, right? And if this is the last one, then what would I say? What would I do? You feel me? What I want to ask you to do, especially as parents, we have to deal with some of these demons that we have had to face, that we try to act like we didn't have to face, right? Because what happens is the more whole we are, the better we are for our children, right? Something crazy. So I do all these assessments, and I noticed in my assessment that it was like it was something off. He's good. Yeah, let him be. He's fine. I'll be all right. I promise you. There's like I had a high eye, and then my eye dropped a little bit, and I do some soul searching because I'm training people. But what I don't want to do is the dude that's training, but I ain't growing from it. You feel me? Like I'm training you and telling you, but I'm not learning from it. And so when I looked at it, I was like, yo, why are you here? In terms of your trust and the way you treat people, but then based on something that happened, you go all the way down here. Like, what is that? What's going on? And dealing with those demons. And so as I did my homework, I was like, you know what? Even though I left home when I was 16 years old, my mom and I had some challenges, and we never talked about certain things. Mm-hmm. You know how it is in the neighborhood, like you go through some stuff, but you don't say nothing about it. I was like, yo, E, you want to talk to your mom, or at least you're going to have to heal from it, right? And what I realized was, when I left home at 16, a big part of that was my mom married, and I always felt like it's a weird thing, and I know some of the ladies in here could understand. But when my mom got pregnant at 17, I was like, shame. And so what she ended up doing when she got married, she moved to Detroit, and it was almost as if she changed my last name, and it was almost as if she didn't get pregnant when she was 17 years old. So she had a chance to live this new life, and she was going to let that cover up the old life. Right? And I could tell with my mom, she had poured into the new life and she was doing her thing. Great. It was a phenomenal, relationship. I'm not gonna act like I was abused. We was just getting our butt whipped. You feel me? That's what it was back in the day, right? And so I remember getting to a place where I found out he wasn't my biological father. And I remember there was times where, I felt like, he might have over-disciplined me, or he might have said something or whatever. And I was like, you ain't my dad. And I felt like my mom had to choose between the two of us. So I had put my mom in a situation where it was like, is it him or me? You feel me? And so I put her in a real bad place, not intentionally, but just I put her in that place. And so I remember getting to a spot where I was about 14, 15, realizing, oh, it's him over me. Right? And we never had a conversation about it, but I felt some type of way about it though. Because it was me and my mom by ourselves for a while, and then my man came in the picture, and I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what was wrong. But I knew he wasn't my father, but I thought he might have fit. You feel me? Then you got those relatives that's always gonna let you know. Like they're not gonna tell you, but like you might want to ask your mom one day about my man. I'm like, what does that mean? I'm not gonna say nothing. But you already said something. You already started the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You just started the dialogue already. right? So they kind of put that in my ear. Finally asked my mom. My mom, you know, it's like, nope, it's not. But I was going to get to it. I was like, you was going to get to it? When was you going to get to it? 18, 21? Right? So I left home kind of feeling like, you know, my mom allowed certain things to happen because I felt like she didn't want to mess up her marriage. Now, I'm not saying it's the truth or it's not. I'm just telling you how I felt at 13, 14 years old. And me and my mom never talked about that. So when I realized I left home at 16 and I had some problems in my marriage with my wife because I left home at 16, kind of like, you know what, Mom? So you ain't going to say nothing to him. So let me just leave and ain't nobody else ever going to tell me what to do. So I had this demon of, you can't tell me what to do. And I would take that everywhere. So in my marriage, my wife was like, you know, you need to do this and you need to do that so that you can get to this level. You need to change this, you need to change that. And I would buck against her. Like, you ain't my mama. You can't tell me what to do. And she's like, hold up, I ain't trying to be your mama. But I'm like, yo, you kind of controlling, right? But it wasn't that she was controlling. It was, I never dealt with that when I left home at 16. I never dealt with the fact that I was hurt, that I felt like my mom didn't take care of me in the way I thought she should have taken care of me. Right? So we had to have that conversation, and I had to deal with it. And not deal with my mom like, Mom, you messed up, but more like, your mom, I was young, and I didn't handle it the right way. And these are the thoughts that I thought. But when I fixed that, me and my wife, I thought we were doing good. We went to like marital bliss. We haven't had an argument over a year. Like a for real. You know what I'm talking about when I say like a, when we used to get into it all the time. And I never realized that I was the one that was starting it. But what happened was when she would push that button that I never healed from, I would always respond like, yo, for real, like, don't try to control me. And she like, well, I thought you was a Christian. I'm like, I am. Well, I'm supposed to be your help me. You don't want me to help you? I'm like, yeah, but let me pick where you help me at. Because I need to be in control. But when I did the assessment, it showed that my wife is like a pilot. Like, she needs to be in control. Not because she needs to be in control. She was born to be in control. Like, that's the superpower that she had. And anything she's ever done for us or for me or for herself since we were 16, she always execute. I don't execute at the level she execute. But I wanted to be in control of something that happened. I'm a people person. I don't need to be in control. I'm more like a stewardess. I don't need to fly the plane. I need to get in there with the folks and give out water, drink. That's what I do. But I wanted to be in control because of something that happened when I was 13. My mom lied to me. But I never really dealt with that. Why? Because that's mama. So even though she lied to me, she told me the truth after I confronted her. But we never talked about it after that. We should have talked about it. I should have told her how hurt I was. That you whipped me for lying, but you were a liar. But I just kept it on the inside. And then I took it into my marriage. And I took it with my kids. And I used to be pissed at my kids, like, they all, Dad, you know, you fuss. I'm like, what? Y'all mom be laying hands. Y'all mom stay on some, like, going off on y'all. Cause I ain't never cussed at y'all. Your mom didn't cuss y'all out. I don't get it. But when I looked at the assessment, what it showed me was my wife has always consistently been that. So you can adapt to a person when that's who they are. So my wife is aggressive. Like, she don't play. She want to lay hands on you. She lay hands. She want to cuss you out. She cuss you out. But for me, it was like, why they tripping on me when I say something to them? But it was like, Dad, we're used to you being this outgoing, energetic, bringing the energy. So then when you go off, that's like not who you normally are. You understand what I'm saying? So I realized when I looked at it, I was like, yo, I got some soul searching to do. So I had to switch stuff up with my daughter, and I had to switch some stuff up with my son. What I would normally want to say to him, I'm like, don't say it that way. But for real, y'all know how we grew up. Wasn't no man in your life compromising what he was saying. It wasn't shifting nothing for you. When he came to the crib from working 40, 50 hours, he said whatever he wanted to say, however he wanted to say it. How many of y'all have fathers in here that was on some like, I'm not going to say that stuff? No, they said whatever they wanted to say. Let me see your hand. However they wanted to say it. So I'm like, yo, I'm in a different space now where these kids can't necessarily handle it like that. So I gotta heal so I can heal so I can deal with them differently. I got my daughter who, like, where I come from, mad disrespectful. Like the shutdown boy. But then when I took her test, I realized she's not disrespectful. Her personality is to withdraw. Her personality is to be like, she needs time. So I can tell my son, let's go in 3 hours. I can tell my daughter the same thing, but based on the exam, I need to give her 72 hours. So I can't tell her we're going on a trip tomorrow. She's more methodical, analytical. She's more careful. So for her, you got to give her 72 hours. So I did what my parents never did. I took the test so I could be a better parent. My parents was like, it come as it is. Ain't nobody about to go to class for you. Ain't nobody about to learn nothing new for you. Like, yo, for real. And somebody help me out. What was their mindset? Why wouldn't they change? Because they said they was doing what? They was paying the bills. Right? What else? I brought you in this world. I take you out. I mean, that was the philosophy. Like, no one nobody in the crib changing. And I'm like, man, God, I gotta change. They the kids.
Right.
They should be changing. They should be accommodating me. Because that's how we were taught. The child does all the accommodating. Right? Grown people talk and you do what? It just, for real, like you go somewhere, don't do what? You feel me? Like we had one universal hookup. It's all different now. It depends on who the child is. You got to change to make the child happy. We didn't come from that. You come in the house, you shut your mouth. You're not seen. You're not heard until somebody call you. For real, I'm looking at my kids now. They go in the grocery. They go in the refrigerator. I don't know about y'all. When we was young, you didn't go into you ain't go to nobody's refrigerator. You didn't get to go in and take out food. You ate when they what? When it was time to eat. You didn't eat no other times. You wasn't like just getting a snack out in the middle of the day. Whatever they cooked, that's what you ate. Whatever my grandma cooked, the groceries were supposed to last for so long. So then I come in the world with my kids where it's like, yo, when did this change? Like here were the rules. This is how things work. You don't talk back to your parents. You don't question. I remember the first time I questioned my father who raised me. First time. I never forget. Y'all know how we got the bars on the door? I wasn't thinking, so I was standing right where the bars to the door was. And my man was like, yo, I was like, yo, bro, you told me I was on punishment for 2 months. The 2 months is over. Like, at what point? I don't remember, I promise y'all. Like, all I remember was that, the hookup. And I remember my uncle used to say, y'all can help me out. When I was starting to get into that, my uncle would say, you're doing what? You're feeling yourself. You're smelling yourself. And he used to tell me, and I didn't know what he meant. And I talked to my father like, yo, bro, I can't what? And I just remember, bam, boom. My head hit the bars. Boom, and I hit the ground. That was the first time I saw stars. You know how you see them on the cartoons? That was the first time I saw stars. And when I woke up, he wasn't where? He wasn't standing there to give me a what? No water, no explanation. He was gone. And I woke up like, what in the world? And later that day, he was like, don't you ever question me again. This time I hit you once. Don't you ever question me again. So that's how I grew up. So we gotta heal, clean, cleanse. Each generation is supposed to get better because you grew up with all these rules, and then you get kids who millennials who totally different, right? And for some of you, I feel you, but if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I understand how you feel like it ain't fair, but we're not dealing with fair. We're dealing with growth. We're dealing with progression. So counseling, I know that ain't something we own, but it's something we need to get. Just talk to him. I just talked to a bro. I'm being real, y'all, transparent. This is why this conversation is so important. I was just at the airport, saw my man sitting down. I could tell he was like a medical dude, like probably a little older than me, clean looking bruh. He was working. And then I saw him a little bit late. He didn't see me, but I saw him. He saw me later. It was like, yo, E, is that you? I was like, yeah, what's up, bro? He was like, man, I watch all your videos, right? Like, I'm real. So I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I'm good. I'm like, all right, bro, you watching the video? You getting something from it? He's like, yeah. My man come back to me about 5 minutes later, like, yo, can I talk to you? I was like, bro, I tried to talk to you the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried to talk to you the first time. It's a grown man. I never met my man a day in his life. He was like, E, you a praying man, aren't you? I was like, yeah, I pray. He was like, man, pray for. I love what he did. He said, pray for Lester, the Lester family. I was like, all right, cool. Are you a part of the Lester family, bro? He was like, yeah. I was like, what you want me to pray about? He started crying, grown man. He said, my marriage. I said, I got you. He go, take my number, bro. Call me when you're serious. He called me less than 24 hours later. He called me today. I was getting ready to get on the plane. He called me. I said, what's up? He's like, man, my wife said I'm controlling. And then my kids, like, on my side. He said, I just want you to know what's going on before you call. I was like, just tell her to call me. We good. He's like, well, she might not want to call you. I said, bro, this is divine. It's good. I got you. I'm going to take care of it. This is what I do. Just give me her number. We're going to make this right. He's like, but you need to know what's going on. I was like, all right. So she was controlling it. She wasn't feeling what I was doing. She wasn't feeling the kids. And so she ended up starting a relationship with somebody else. I can tell my man balling. But it's marriage. And I'm like, I got you, bro. I know what you on. You on what we was on. You could have did this a long time ago. But where we come from as men, you don't make adjustments. You make the adjustment. We don't make adjustments. But now you're ready to make an adjustment. It would have been better had you made an adjustment earlier, bro. I could have helped you earlier when you was controlling. And you felt like you get to say where the money go. And you get to decide when y'all move and don't move. And she come along for the ride. I could have helped you with that. I could have showed you through a test what you was and what you needed to change, where she was and where she needed assistance. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? The problem ain't the problem. The problem is where he come from. And when we come from, if you having a problem, you don't do what? You don't deal with it. You just act like you just keep going to work. You act like it's going to fix itself, and it don't. And so our babies are going to repeat the same cycles if we don't just take the L and go, my mom shouldn't have put, I'm just going to be 100. I love my mom. But I'm like, yo, mom, you set me up. You set me up. You lied to me about who my old dude was. You set me up. You should have just told me off the cuff. You shouldn't have let your sisters tell me. You shouldn't have let the neighbors tell me. You don't know what it's like to get joked when your old dude who raising you is 6'8". Everybody like, you know that ain't your daddy, don't you? My neighbors. They like, come on, E, you think that's your father? I know it is. Bro, I can tell you it's not. It's not possible. My mother wouldn't lie to me. Come on, my mom? Who I'm going to believe? I'm going to believe you, or I'm going to believe my mom? I should have asked my mom a long time ago, but I knew, don't ask your mom. Like, don't even put her through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even put the stress of that. You know she ain't lying. But then a part of me be like, she might be. Can you imagine what that did to the relationship over the years? And then to get the word, we got healing to do, y'all. We got to act like we whole. I'll never try to act. I tell my kids, hey, for real, I ain't perfect, but I promise you, I'm trying harder than any generation has ever tried before. And I can die knowing that I tried. I went and got counseling. I'm still taking tests and learning. I'm still trying with my daughter. I'm like, my son was like, how's she doing? I'm like, she's doing great. I found out what she was. I made the adjustments. I don't know if she made them or not. Maybe she did because she's certified too. So maybe she's been peeping out some stuff and making some. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. And so we're gonna have to stop letting these sins of, well, I got touched, I don't say nothing. There's some people in my house that said some stuff to me, touched me in ways shouldn't be, and I ain't gonna say nothing about it. That stuff, it don't go nowhere because you keep it in. It don't go nowhere. And so as we're healed, we liberate. I told you, Harriet, she didn't take no 100 people with her on the first go round. She went by herself. And when she was free, she's like, yo, this what this feel like? I gotta go help. And she said it. I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more had they known they were slaves. They ain't know. Right? And so we are they. You know, we were talking, Tommy and I was talking about the emotional and mental drama and trauma you go through when you are a house Negro and master downstairs sleeping with your wife and ain't nothing you can do about it. And then the baby come out and look like master. You can't do nothing about it? What trauma when they kick in your front door and take your grandson, Emmett Till, out and beat this and murdering, and as a grandfather, you can't do nothing about it, and they don't go to jail for it. That's trauma. And so we've gone through years and years and years watching your daddy get caught reading and they lynch him on a tree and put gasoline on him and fight right there in front of you. That's trauma. We've been through trauma, y'all, and we got to get healed. Right. And it ain't nothing wrong with us. Right. We've been through trauma. We were stripped from our native land. We've been through trauma. We seeing stuff. Our babies know people who in jail already. We got 12-year-old kids going to jail. My life was, I'm talking about, when y'all talk about, what's the word I'm looking for? Community activists, and y'all see me with all these videos and traveling the world. Let me tell y'all, Emmett Till was where it first, like I woke up in college, and then Yummy Sandiford, that was it for me. When Yummy was shot like execution style in the back of his head as an 11-year-old. Right here in the shot. Because they feared that he was going, That changed my life. I'm like, yo, bro, you 11 years old and you got to get shot execution style. Like, come on, bro. So it's a lot of trauma. I'm saying to fathers, let's go get healed. Let's go get healed. It don't make us bad people. Let's go get counseling. Let's go get counseling. Let's put ourselves in a situation where I'm even smart enough to know that when me and my son on a certain thing, I'm like, yo, bring in a mediator. That came from school. Bring in a mediator, because y'all, it ain't going to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't going to do nothing but you're going to create some, like, trauma from this conversation. Because I'll be real. Like, I do know, I call my boy C, like, yo, you got to get involved because I'm about to say some stuff that I don't want to say. But I want to say it, but I know it ain't the right way to say it. Because we came from, like I said, they just said it like it was. This generation can't necessarily handle it at raw because they start thinking, what you mean when you say that? So I was just like, yo, C, get on the phone. I don't necessarily, as a father, I don't want to have to bring in another man. But I'd rather bring in another man and help than I would to do. We know where we come from. When there's something wrong, you keep it what? So y'all, fathers, you hear me? Let's go get counseling. Let's go get healed. And if you don't want to do like, professional, let's get with accountability group. Let's get with other men. We'll get to sit down and just talk about the struggles and what we're going through. Women, same thing. Let's go. Let's read the books. I got my son reading the books I read. The Road Less Traveled. All right, Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. Right, a daily motivation for African American success. I'm just giving him what helped me. Yep, I see. Yep, right there. Yep, don't hold that up. Yep, ain't nobody playing. Right here. Yep, I'm every day, bro. Got it in my book bag right now. Reading it every day. Some powerful stuff he's saying in there to heal me, and it's quick. If you don't like to read, you know what I'm saying? It's like a 3-4 minute boy. He's like, yes, got it. All right. So let's open up for question and answer here. Last thing. They cannot be given an option when it comes to learning. I didn't say degrees. They cannot be given an option. They must learn how to read at the highest level that they can read. They must learn how to do math. They must learn how to write. They must learn how to articulate themselves. No options. Our people understood the way to freedom was through education. There is no other way to be successful. I made my kids go to college. You don't have a choice. You're not going to work first. You're going to college first. And it's not even just about school. There's a network that you can't get on the block. And I didn't live in the hood, and the block still wasn't enough for where I wanted my children to go. You understand that? I made sure that my son in college understood not wealth, money, but wealth and privilege. So we were fortunate to get him on a Michigan State men's basketball team as a manager. Right? Broke his femur playing football, so that route wasn't going to happen, but we still got him in. And there's privilege, not only when you're a part of an institution, but when you're a part of it that deeply. Like, a lot of people go to school, but there's a difference between being immersed. That was intentional and deliberate. Some of the people that my son and my daughter are connected to, intentional and deliberate. I spoke today, something in Atlanta, bro, put together. I think it's national, minority business, whatever. And this is for realtors. There was a brother who's the first, and probably only a few of them, bruh in Cali, who owns a bank. I called my son. I don't care what he doing. I don't care he get pissed. I don't care what he doing. I say, yo, find my man and bring him in the room. Now go get Ben, whatever his name is, 70-something-year-old, bruh, own a bank. I think he owned 3 banks. I'm like, what? That's unheard of. LeBron don't own a bank. Jordan don't own a bank. A bank like Chase? Told my man, come in. Told my son, take a picture with my man. So the next time, when you do, because he only 23. So when you wake up, when you woke, because you're not woke at 23. How many of y'all was woke? Men, how many men in the room was woke at 23? Let me see your hand. How many of y'all woke at 23? Let me see your hand. You were not woke at 23. So I said, come take the pic, because you're not woke right now. You're 23. But when you wake up and realize who this dude is, you show him this picture. And you sit at his feet and ask him what, because what do I want for my grandkid? I want a bank. Because if we do a bank, they ain't never got to what? They never got to work. We got a bank. None of my generations will ever have to work if we own a bank. Because we'll make money off of lending money. So I saw my man, I was like, whoa, you what? He said, yes, and I was the first black realtor in the United States of America. I was like, yep, I'm coming to Cali to sit at your feet. Because that's another level. Most of us just trying to get enough money to buy a Range Rover. We're trying to buy a house and impress somebody. You had the mindset in the 19 whats to start a what? You understand? If he's 70-something, he was doing it when it wasn't popular to do. It's popular to do now, and we don't have men who own or black women who own banks. And we're at the height of what we can do, and we still don't own banks? This is what he told me. I love it. He's like, young man, I heard you trying to move to Cali. I said, yes, sir. He said, I'll make sure I'll get you the loan for the house. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to hear. I'm about to get a loan from abroad for a house. Hopefully the realtor and the construction people can also be minorities, and that's all my money can go to minorities. Are you hearing me? But when we heal and we're not dealing with a whole bunch of drama, this is what we can do. Right? And fathers, do me a favor. I know she tripping. But do not allow her to put you in a situation where you can't see your babies. And you don't have and you're not present. So get through all of that stuff. You ain't got but a couple years, 18 years, you ain't 18 years. 13, 12, 10, 7, whatever. I'm telling you, it'll be worth it in the end. Are you hearing me? Good. Question and answer, quickly. Question and answer. Good. Any questions? Any
Real
questions?
quick,
Yes, sir.
Dr. E, can
Yes, sir.
you,
Just ET, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, I use that when we get in the check. I'm just ET.
I don't need the mic. Can you unpack the social emotional assessment that you said that you used? You didn't name.
So for me, and where you can go is etinspires.com/execute. etinspires.com/execute. There are 3 tests, but the test that we're using mainly for the first level is the DISC. Right? So I must be honest, and I'm not bragging. Right? But you just know when Jackie Robinson got in baseball, it was different. When Tiger Woods got in the golf, it was different. When Venus and Serena got in tennis, it's different. So the test has been around since 1940. The same guy who came up with the lie detector test, right, and the character Wonder Woman put this together in 1940. It was actually before 1940. It became popular in 1940. The challenge with the test is the facilitation, not the test.